Before we get into this, just a quick heads up. Tomorrow we're opening the enrollment for the Suburban Preppers Homestead course. If you want early access and a discount code, make sure that you're on our email list. I'll put a link below. All right, so let's talk about this. Over the past few weeks, I've had a few conversations that have really stayed with me. These were not with people who really spend all day watching headlines or tracking geopolitics, something that I tend to do. These were just ordinary friends, and I could hear something familiar in their voices. And it wasn't just concern, it was that deeper uncertainty that really shows up when people can really feel that something is shifting, but they can't really quite find solid ground. And part of that uncertainty is clearly tied to what's happening right now with Iran, the Strait of Hormuz, the energy issues we're facing, and really the kind of global tension that can move from just headlines into daily life much faster than people really expect. And at the same time, I don't think the strait itself is the full reason that people feel unsettled. I mean, it's definitely a part, but I think it represents something that's much larger. It's just another pressure point in a world that already feels expensive. It feels strained, and it's harder to really navigate than it used to. And when people, they hear about a situation like that, they often start thinking not just about the geopolitical event itself. They start thinking about already, things like high gas prices, how it's going to impact their utility bills, grocery costs, inflation, supply chain problems, and whether life is about to become even harder for them to afford. And that's what I hear underneath the questions that people ask. It's not simply fear about something happening in another part of the world. It is the recognition that many households are already stretched thin, and it doesn't really take much more for just one more shock to really push things in the wrong direction. And when you're already paying more for food, you're paying more for power, for insurance, and for just about everything else, another layer of instability, it doesn't feel like it's distant. It feels personal. It feels like something that may soon show up at your doorstep in the form of higher costs, lower availability, and really fewer good options. And that feeling is familiar to me, not because this is the same as what we've been seeing before, but because the pattern is familiar. If you think back to the early period before COVID really changed everything, there was a stretch of time where many people could sense that something was building, but most had not yet translated that into action. And here on the channel, we were trying to warn our community about the potential for a pandemic the month before COVID really broke out worldwide. And that was not because we had a crystal ball. It wasn't because we knew exactly what was coming. It was because we just paid attention. We watched the headlines and the signals, and we were trying to pay attention to global movements and really asking different questions than I think a lot of people were at that time. And a lot of people, they're now asking whether they need to panic. And the better question is what they should quietly do now so that whatever comes next really affects them less later. And that has always been the heart of preparedness. It is about taking what you see in the world and really translating that into action rather than anxiety. And we understand that we cannot control what's going to happen out there. We really can't control global conflict, fragile supply chains, energy markets, or the decisions that are made far above our heads and thousands of miles away from our hometowns. But what we can control is how exposed we are when those pressures begin making their way into our everyday life. We can change how hard those things hit our households when they do finally reach us. That matters because modern life has made things obviously much more comfortable, but it has also made us more dependent. And in many ways, we have handed over layers of self-reliance that our grandparents and our great-grandparents simply had to maintain. They would not have called this preparedness or being a prepper. Instead, they just called it getting by. They knew how to stretch what they had, to keep extra on hand, to fix things, to grow some food and save where they could. I still remember watching my granddad sitting in his chair down in his den that he had set up. He was working on repairing an old leather belt he refused to throw away while he was sitting back and watching Wheel of Fortune. He and my grandmother, they just had learned to live to get by and make things work. They lived through the Great Depression. And we have grown up used to convenience, easy access, and systems that always seem to work. But when those systems come under strain, households, they feel it first. And that's why I keep saying preparedness it's not about bunkers or wild conspiracy theories. And for most people, it's about building margin back into everyday life. It's about food on hand, water stored, some financial breathing room, backup power if you can manage it, and more capability at home. And the small steps, they really matter because they create margin. And margin is what really keeps a household from becoming reactive as the pressure begins to build and mount, much like it is now. Now, I do want to be very clear about something. I'm actually recording this on Friday, April 3rd, before heading out to Joshua Tree for the weekend with my daughter. We're going to be doing some camping with some friends there. We do every year. And I'm going to be off grid for a couple of days, and this video is going to go live when I'm gone. And I say all that because it really highlights something important. This is not about predicting what happens next. I have no idea what the next 48 hours are going to look like from the time I'm recording this until the time I release a video, and none of us do. And that's the point. And let me be clear that I'm not claiming to know every detail of what comes next. Far from it, because no one can. But what I can say is that for anyone paying attention right now, it's not really hard to see the implications and the likely fallout as certain patterns really start to emerge, which affects what I prepare for and what many of us should be preparing for next. We may not know the exact time or the shape of every disruption, but what we do know is what tends to happen when major systems come under increased and really serious strain. And what usually happens? Well, we see prices rise, availability tightens, delays start stacking up, and the routines that people rely on, they become less dependable. Households that have already built in some margin, they feel that pressure very differently from households that are already operating with none. And that's really the dividing line here. It's not between people who really correctly guessed the future and those who didn't. It is between people who used uncertain moments to build stability and people who waited until the instability was obvious to everyone. And by that point, things are usually more crowded, things are more expensive, and just more stressful. Calm decisions, what happens? We're forced into having to make rush decisions. And thoughtful action, it gets replaced by reaction. And that's why I started this channel more than 10 years ago, because I believe there was a real need for this kind of thinking. Not fear-based thinking, not panic, but the steady recognition that the world, it's not getting more stable and that normal households need practical ways to build resilience where they live. After 1.3 million subscribers here on this channel and countless videos, I think we've dialed in what works. The mission hasn't changed, but we've refined it over the years. The goal is to help people understand the pressure they feel, recognize what lies beneath, and turn it into useful action. It's about building capability rather than just consuming alarming headlines, and becoming less fragile and more grounded, and really preparing for an increasingly uncertain future. Sorry, I get a visitor here. And this is exactly why we built the Suburban Preppers Homestead course the way we did. A lot of people understand the need to move from just being prepared to self-sufficiency in theory, but they still need a clear path to how to actually build it into daily life. And they need to know what to work on first, what matters most, and what can wait, and how to rebuild real resilience where they live without feeling overwhelmed. And that's the purpose of that program. It is about helping normal households install practical systems at home, step by step, so they can become less dependent, more capable, and more insulated from the kind of pressures that we've been talking about in this video and on this channel for years. And my hope is that it gives a practical way to start building margin where they live, one step at a time. So I'm opening the Suburban Preppers Homestead course for new enrollments on Monday. If you want early access and a discount, again, make sure that you're on our email list. I'll put a link in the comments and description section below. If you're ready to do more than just feel the pressure and you want to start building your way out of it, this is the right time to take a serious look. And let me be clear, whether you choose to sign up for our course or not, my encouragement to you is to take action. If you've been feeling that uncertainty lately, or you've really caught yourself wondering whether things are becoming a little too expensive, more unstable, or more fragile, then pay attention to that. What people are really looking for in moments like this is not just more information or another round of analysis. They're looking for stability, a path forward, and the kind of peace of mind that really only comes from taking real steps to really help reduce their exposure. And some of that anxiety and tension, it's natural. It's a part of the survival mechanism that's really built into us, especially those of us that are preppers. And it's really here to alert us when something feels off and really to push us to pay attention. And you don't need to feed that feeling with panic, but you should not ignore it either. Let it push you toward action. Let it remind you that preparedness, it's not about predicting every headline. It's about building enough buffer, capability, and resilience into your life that the next shock doesn't hit your household as hard as it would have otherwise. So when I hear that uncertainty in people's voices, what I tell them is pretty simple. Stay calm and just keep preparing. You don't have to do everything at once, and you don't need to do it perfectly, but you do need to start building some margin into your life. And that's what really changes the experience of living through uncertain times. It lowers the temperature, it turns anxiety into action, and it really gives you something useful to do. And the people that move early, they usually don't look dramatic in the moment, but later they tend to look steadier, calmer, and less exposed because they gave themselves options before the pressure really arrived. And this is really what this is about. It's about building buffers, options, and greater stability at home so your household isn't really forced to absorb every shock all at once as the world becomes more unstable. As always, stay safe out there.